Hello, hello. It's been a long time, hasn't it? Since I did episode 6 of Richie's Spots. And yeah, I didn't anticipate on the last few months or so since the last episode to have taken this long, but here we are. I guess that's just how life is, where one moment you're just not really doing much, not a care in the world, and whatever. Um, it's just it just happens like that, when you get busy with a brand new job at the time, and school starts up, and you want to put your focus on that. Content just became like a side thought. Like I was always interested in making some, but I just wasn't dedicated enough because of those aforementioned two things. So I wasn't exactly in the best spot to do so. Of course, I still could have done it, but I was totally focused on just like finishing up with the school and just making sure I'm in a good part of my job. So figure I mentioned that on the top of the hour. But yes, welcome to episode 7 of Richie Spots. It's not gonna be like a dedicated topic like the last one was, or technically two. Or actually, technically, there'll be more of a two on this one. But the difference is that we have a bit of a variety to talk about, as you can tell by the screen. And I probably will go back to proper slideshows or whatever for images, or maybe try something new. But for the meantime, we're just gonna have this up on the screen, so for people just listening in, they can just listen to the audio and not necessarily have to look at the screen unless I prompt you to do otherwise. Or if you're listening to this by audio, then yeah. So with that being said, where do we start? Because a lot of shit happened since the last episode, and I mean a lot of shit. So I mean, what better way to start off with than these topics? So, and actually, to be fair, I did actually have a recording ready to go that I was just putting into the Sony Vegas, but some stuff came out the other day. Paramount, projects that I thought, maybe I should give an opinion on it. So I decided to scrap the episode I already had in mind, which granted, it was just going to be about the topics that you see on screen minus Paramount. But I figure I squeezed Paramount in there because there was some stuff that, they were revealing that I thought was genuinely interesting. So I was like, you know what? Let's give this a shot. So, actually, speaking of Paramount, why don't we do that first? Yeah, let's do that first. So, Paramount Plus the other day, in like not random times, but sometimes every once in a while they'll reveal a bunch of projects. It'd be like, hey, this is what we have coming up, so be on the lookout for it. So basically, it's like a Nintendo Direct, but except if it was on like Nintendo's Twitter feed. So basically, like a thread of tweets that tell you like a whole bunch of projects. And I was watching these projects evolve, and I was genuinely curious about how some of these projects are going to do. Kind of questionable ones at best. And then there's some ones where I'm just like, oh, okay. So, what better way to start off with than the Paramount Plus stuff? So, unfortunately, I do not have my second monitor, so this will be a little, not necessarily complicated, but you will hear me go through the thread, obviously with the mouse, as you can probably hear that, and the clicking. So, this is what I have to do for now. So yeah, let me go ahead and just narrate the thread for those of you that are hearing this by audio, so that way you don't necessarily have to go along with the tweet thread, although if you want to, you may go ahead. So let's start off. So this was yesterday. Paramount Plus said, and I quote, "Since launch, we made it clear. Hashtag Paramount Plus is home to a mountain of entertainment. Of course, we have the most diverse content offering in streaming with movies, kids and family programming, news, sports and events, unscripted television, adult animation, and scripted shows." Okay. We've got peak content, the top 10 shows that brought viewers to Paramount Plus: NFL on CBS, 1883 Official, iCarly, Paw Patrol, Quiet Place Movie, Infinite Mauve. What is that? Oh, it's just a thing from Mark Wahlberg and director Tony Fuka. Man, I completely botched that. Um, but yeah, so Clifford movie, SpongeBob, South Park, and last but not least, the UEFA, which is basically soccer. All right, so here's the first project. So basically, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go through every project that's in this thread. There might be another thread with some other stuff in it, which we'll look at too if there is one. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about each project. I'm gonna give my opinions on it and how I think it's gonna do. Now, some of the ones might be kind of short because I could give less of a fuck about like some of these projects, but I will give it due diligence, and at the very least, just give it an actual opinion instead of just saying, "Oh, it's boring." Next. So, but if I do get to that point, I want to at least give it again due justice, just because of like obviously not to say, "Oh, it's boring," and then that's it. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so the first project is Suit Up Spartans. The wait is almost over. Halo the series premieres March 24th exclusively on Paramount Plus with a second season already ordered. Okay, so basically, this isn't really an announcement of the show. I assume it was already announced just by the way the tweet is worded. But basically, they're basically saying, hey, the series is going to premiere on March 24th, exclusively on Paramount Plus, and the second season is already ordered. Now, the thing I want to talk about, and we're going to talk about this later because there is something down the thread that mentions this. It's always a gamble when you already are ordering a second season when your first season hasn't even come out yet. That tells me that they have a lot of confidence that this thing is going to warrant a second season. And I mean, of course, it's fucking Halo. People know Halo. They love Halo. They know it's like one of the backbones, if not the backbone of like the Microsoft Xbox era of gaming. So I don't know too much about the show. I assume it's just gonna be like obviously the Spartans on like a planet or something, but then they have to combat against like some sort of force. I would not be surprised if there's a fucking movie later on. Like I give it 2 or 3 years that until they decide to come up with the idea of a movie. Now I don't know if this movie hypothetically would be a straight to Paramount Plus type of deal, or they're gonna say fuck it and put it in theaters. But I anticipate them making a movie. Now it's gonna be kind of not necessarily hard, but I wonder how are they gonna make this hypothetical movie if like similar kind of concept movies based on what Halo is, and the same kind of shit that's already been out in theaters before. How are they gonna make it a bit more unique? But as far as the TV show is concerned, I'm actually genuinely curious to see how this is going to go. I'm pretty sure gaming, TV shows based on games tend to do a little bit better than the movies. I know, obviously, Sonic and, Detective Pikachu were like the two exceptions so far. So I'm genuinely curious to see how this is going to do. I really don't have much to say because I imagine there's not much different that I would expect from a Halo series. So I'm just going to assume it's basically like, the games in the sense of the story, and maybe just something a little bit different. Like, for example, maybe a few new characters straight from the TV show that maybe come into the Halo series of gaming as like DLC or some shit. Because that's the kind of way they usually do it. With some of the games where if they have their own TV show or movie, and if let's say the game is still ongoing or series of games, they'll probably find a way to incorporate that character into that universe. So overall for this one, I'm curious to see how this is going to go. I don't think it's going to be, if they play their cards right, I don't think it's going to be bad, but that's a major if. That's only if they play their cards right with this one. So I would say this one, pretty good impression. Well, not pretty good impression so far, because obviously there's not much I know about it, so I can't really give it like a overly bent score. But I am generally curious to see how this is going to go. I just think it has a positive road ahead of him if certain things go in their direction. All right, so here's the second tweet, or technically fourth tweet. Starting in 2024, Paramount Plus will be the exclusive streaming home for all new Paramount Plus movies after their theatrical runs. Okay, I mean this is pretty standard. I imagine that they would do this anyway, so this doesn't surprise me. All right, Transformers: Rise of the Beasts will be released theatrically in 2023 and is the first of 3 new installments. Okay, so basically like a trilogy. A new animated series from Nickelodeon arrives this fall. Okay. And in 2024, the franchise expands further with a CG animated Transformers theatrical film. Okay, so basically they're trying their hand again at the Transformer movies. We all know about that shit. I mean, look at the Michael Bay movies. So let me actually see if there's anything about the movie, because I actually have not really kept up with Rise of Beasts at all, or even that shit for that matter. So let's take a look. Um, so here's the premise. The premise is in the year 1994, a pair of archaeologists from Brooklyn come into an ancient conflict for a globe-trotting adventure that ties in with with three factions of Transformers: the Maximals, the Predakians, and the Terracons. Okay, so basically this movie sounds like it's just going to be like a conflict type of movie where a bunch of shit's involved and they fight each other, and then I guess one comes up victorious. Or to me, this sounds like, somebody's at work, we find the true villain, and then we kill his stupid ass. So yeah, that's what it sounds like. So let me take a look. So yeah, that's the premise. Obviously, it hasn't come out yet, so we don't know much more other than maybe a trailer or two that will maybe happen later on. The movie doesn't come out until June 9th, 2023. So yeah, it didn't provide like a release date on the tweet, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't know. This is probably gonna be one of those ones where I don't have much to say, but I will try my best anyway. So that way, this is a worthy kind of opinion. I'm generally curious to see how they're gonna handle Transformers in this modern age, in the sense that I think the technology for what they always want to do, in terms of like obviously robots flying over the place, blowing shit up, and buildings coming down and whatever. I think we have the technology way more advanced than we did back in like what 2008, where I think it was a little bit more limited, just because of like where the tech was at the time. Granted, it wasn't garbage in 2008, but it obviously wasn't that far further down the road. So here we are in fucking 2022 with this movie coming out in 2023. I imagine that hey, it's gonna get a lot better. So I have obviously high expectations for that factor, because if there's one thing I have always keep note of when it comes to Transformers, is that I expect there to be like a good amount of CGI, just because I feel like you can't. I mean, you could try another way of making it without it, or without too much reliance on it, but I don't know. I mean, with Transformers, you pretty much just have to put most of your budget into making sure the CGI looks good, with again robots flying around and the explosions and shit, and just like and with the way that the premise sounds like, with this globe-trotting kind of adventure, I mean, you definitely got to step your game up when it comes to that shit. Actually, speaking of the Michael Bay movies, it's funny that I say that, because I just now looked at it. Rise of the Beasts is apparently a Michael Bay, or not Michael Bay. It's a prequel to the Michael Bay movies. So, yeah, there you go. This movie is actually a prequel to the Michael Bay movies. So, interesting. So let's take a look at the director real quick before we move on to the next part of the tweet. It's going to get directed by Stephen Caple Jr. Let's take a look at his his resume. He was named as one of the 30 under 30 in Hollywood Entertainment. So basically, 30 under 30, I assume that just means like a list of successful people that are under a certain age. So good for him. That's very good. So let's take a look at the filmography. So we're gonna look at the ones that he's actually the director of. So he was director of The Land, if anyone's seen that. Machine Gun Kelly Dope Man. So it's kind of like a discography type of film or movie, I guess. Then we have Grownish, which is a sitcom series. Then we have Ratchet, which is a docu series. Then we have Creed 2. I've actually seen that movie. It's not that bad. I mean, it's nothing special out of what you normally would expect from a fucking boxing movie. And then the next one is Rise of Beasts. So I say it's a pretty decent resume. I mean, it's not the greatest, but I'm not gonna shit on him for that, because certain directors of certain great movies in our time have like the resume of a fucking pinky finger. So I mean, it's just gonna happen. So I'm not sure what else to say. I'm genuinely curious to see how they're gonna handle obviously the story, because this apparently is a prequel to the Michael Bay movies. So I wonder how they're gonna set this up without doing too much in terms of like how far they could go in the story without making the Michael Bay movie seem like an odd sitting duck. So we're just gonna see what happens. I have not much else to say about it. I do have hope that the CGI and everything in that direction is gonna look good. That's all. New anime series from Nickelodeon. I mean, this is gonna happen. I mean, when you have a franchise like Transformers, or hell, even like fucking other ones like Spider-Man or shit, you're gonna obviously want to put like an animated series out there for the kids, and they've done that before with Transformers. I mean, hell, the old school cartoons is a fucking prime example. So, I mean, I'm not surprised about this. I generally don't care, mainly because I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it unless somebody brings it up to me and then gives me a clip. So, this doesn't really surprise me at all. So I have nothing else to say. And then the part about in 2024, the franchise the franchise expands further with a CG animated Transformers theatrical film. So I imagine that this 2024 film is going to be the movie, the Transformers movie that goes with the animated series. That's the only thing that makes sense because of the wording, and they already are making the whatchamacallit. They're already making the claim, or not claim. They're making the Jesus, my fucking brain's going nuts today. I need to chill myself out. The animated film is gonna obviously go with the movie. The animated film is gonna go with the TV series. Whoops. To where when the series comes out, you're gonna have like a nice movie to go along with it for marketing purposes. So you can get more kids in the theater. You can get more marketing direction towards the show. So I don't think this is a surprise. I mean, if like fucking Avatar came back or some shit, and they came out with like a nice a nice revival series, and then they came out with like a movie, then it doesn't really surprise me. I mean, hell, Teen Titans Go through the same shit where the series was at its peak, and it still kind of is by default, I guess, just based on the engagement. They came out with their own fucking movie. Now, I forgot if the movie was theatrical, but regardless, a movie's a movie. So I don't really have much else to say about Transformers. Again, I'm curious about Rise of the Beast actual story. How are they gonna make sure it doesn't go too far ahead and what it's already gonna go beyond? Because if this movie is a fucking prequel, then they can't really do much in terms of advancement other than the characters for the moment of the setting. And I don't really give a shit about the animated series at all. And the 2024 film for that series, which I assume that's what it means, because otherwise, why would it be? A CG animated Transformers theatrical film. I mean, yeah, wouldn't that just be an adaptation from the show? But whatever. But yeah, Rise of Beasts. I'm looking forward to seeing how the story does and how they're going to handle the CGI with the better technology that they have now. So, there you go. All right, now here's one I could probably give more of an opinion on. All right, so hashtag Sonic Movie Free is officially in development from Paramount Plus and Sega. Plus, next year, a new original Knuckles series with Idris Elba is coming to Paramount Plus. Sonic Movie 2 hits theaters April 8th. So this is what I was talking about earlier with Halo, where they already have ordered another season or movie, and right before their fucking main one even comes out. So with Sonic Movie Free, I feel like it's actually a little bit justified because there's obviously a big demand and a lot of hype for the Sonic movie 2 based on the marketing and just because like there's a lot of fans in that fan base. So I think in this case, I think Sonic has a bit more justification for ordering another movie. Now, I would have waited until the second movie came out and then announce it right away. But, I'm not the one, marketing this shit, so it doesn't matter. So I'm just curious to see how the second movie is going to go. It looks very promising from the poster, from the trailers, and from what we know. Like, But just because it looks good doesn't mean the execution is gonna be great. Because you can have like an aesthetically pleasing movie that looks good as shit with defining qualities and whatnot, but it's gonna come out like a steamy pile of pig shit. If certain executions, like let's say the plot, character development, and the way they go about developing character actions that make sense on the big screen, if you don't execute those things correctly, then people are gonna just not be happy. Like they're just not gonna be happy. Like it's just that simple. It's just that simple. So I don't know. I am really excited to see the second movie though. I did see the first one, but I didn't see it in the theaters. I did watch it outside of it. But for this one, I do plan on watching the second movie in theaters. That is definitely a promise. That is definitely a promise. So, and so far, the second movie looks really promising. In terms of, like I said, in terms of how the plot is looking like, the visuals look really good. I'm curious to see how they're gonna handle like, not just references from like the games, but also how are they gonna implement those references? Because I imagine some of those references are gonna matter in the plot. So you have to look at it and see how it's implemented. And I hope Sonic 2 doesn't fall into the nostalgia trap, Pokemon Journeys, where just because you put nostalgia in there, you're gonna automatically assume people are gonna love your shit. When in reality, you have to do more than that than just have a returning character from your video game series and just put them on there for 5 seconds and think, oh, that's all we have to do. No, you gotta do more than that, especially with a theatrical movie where it's gonna get judged on a whole different level compared to a TV show. So I'm very excited to see how the second movie goes. The Knuckles series is actually kind of interesting because I didn't really think Knuckles would be the one to get one. I think, well, actually, no, that's not fair. I think it was either him or Tails. I think Tails was probably the one I was thinking that maybe would get his own series. But I'm genuinely curious to see, genuinely curious to see how this Knuckles series is going to go. Like, do we even know anything about that? Let me actually take a look. See if there's anything that we can find out about the Knuckles TV show, because this is really interesting. Let me see. Okay, so we don't know anything because I just looked through like a few articles, which it may not seem like it considering how much of a few seconds it is, but I did open up like a bunch. Like a few of them, and I just read through some of it. And no, we don't know shit about this at all. So I can't really give much of an opinion. The only thing I can give an opinion on, however, is just the idea by itself. And I am genuinely curious to see, again, how are they going to handle a Knuckles TV show. Now, if this is like a Sonic live-action TV show, then I can definitely give more of a thought to it because we've seen that many times with its, animated / CGI TV series that we've seen throughout the years. But here we don't know much. I just hope that it doesn't turn into a one-off type of deal where they do it for like a little bit and then it's like gone. I want to see like actual heart put into it. I want to see actual development into this. By actual development, I mean like in terms of like the story of Knuckles, in terms of the character setting, the environment, and just who else is going to be in there, and just make it make sense, So I have high hopes. I have high hopes for both of these projects. And the last thing they mentioned on the tweet was Sonic Movie 2 hits theaters April 8th. Like I said, I'm definitely going to watch it. So overall, I think out of all the announcements so far, I think the Sonic one obviously takes the winner so far because I have like pretty good expectations about how it's going to go. And I think if they play their cards right, then we have a pretty damn good streak of video game movies on the horizon and adaptations, which is coming from Sonic, ironically. So it's pretty good. All right, so we got the next installment of Quiet Place movie. What the fuck is a Quiet Place movie? What? Let me take a look. Hold on. What is this? Oh, wait a minute. Is it hold on. Let me see this. Oh, okay. So I've actually seen the first movie, but I just didn't realize that there was gonna be a fucking another one. But I guess it makes sense considering the way the first one ended. So let me read the tweet, anyways. The next installment of Quiet Place movie is coming next year. It will be directed by Michael Sanowski and A Quiet Place Part 3. Wait, what? So they already announced the third movie? Now this one I can't really justify because it's like, can we not like see how the second one's gonna do in terms of engagement before we come out with the third fucking movie? Like, again, this is like a lot of expectations being put onto the second movie for it to do well enough to where the idea of greenlighting a third movie right before the second one even comes out is worth it. So this is unnecessary pressure that they're putting on the second one to do really well. But I imagine with maybe the engagement and the numbers that they're seeing, either internally or externally, they probably have like a lot of thought to it, to where maybe they feel like it's going to do well enough to where it's going to be justified in making one. So maybe the second movie doesn't have to do quite as well. It just needs to hit like a certain number. Like if it hits a certain number that's not as high, which is what I imagine what they're doing, then yeah. But as far as the opinion about the actual project and not just the fact that we already have a fucking third one coming out in like 3 years, I mean I don't know, because A Quiet Place is like one of those odd movies that you feel fascinated by, but then at the end of it you're just like, what more can they do? Again, it's a little bit stupid for me to say that because I just talked about how open-ended the ending was, but we've seen some open-ended movies before where you see the open ending, but yet you're just still like, what else could they do? Like, what more can they do? So, I mean, the guy is fucking dead. So it's probably just gonna be like, what, the fucking mom and the kids, just continuing to survive, and then they find out about the actual myth of these fucking monsters, and then they find like this, like, I don't know. I feel like the second movie is gonna be one of those ones where they actually find out more about these creatures and their origins and shit like that. And then I imagine if they already announced the third movie, maybe the third movie just pretty much just concludes everything, and then maybe they can either go back to normal or something worse happens. So that's how I imagine this is gonna go. So there you go. I just wrote your trilogy up. You can go ahead and send my paycheck to my you can go ahead and send my paycheck to my fucking PayPal. So there you go. So yeah, overall, I mean, it's whatever. I mean, I'm curious to see how the second movie is gonna do, but if they follow that plot line, or plot line, then I guess it's gonna be okay. So overall, decent idea, I guess. All right, next one. Paramount picks theatrical blockbusters like Top Gun, Lost City movie, Mission Film, and a Dungeons and Dragons movie. Wait, what? And will make their way to Paramount Plus. When the fuck did the Dungeons and Dragons movie get announced? Let me take a look at this. Oh, it's a 2023 film. Okay, so let me take a look. All right, so it was announced. It was talked about first in 2013, but then they finally got their shit together at some point. So there you go. I mean, I don't think I really have anything to say because I don't think there's much I know about it that this thread is telling me. So, I mean, obviously I knew about the Top Gun movie and Lost City. And then, Lost City, I saw a preview of it from the Jackass movie when I went to go see it. So, whatever. And I already know what Mission Impossible is all about. So, and I imagine Dungeons and Dragons, if I have to give it an opinion, maybe I imagine it's just going to be like a bunch of medieval shit. Bunch of dragons, so obviously CGI is gonna be heavily involved in this crap, and maybe the plot is just gonna be centered around something within the Dungeons and Dragons universe. So that not bad, I guess. So let's just keep going. All right, Paramount picks Babylon from Academy Award-winning director Damien Chazelle, and starting Brad Pitt and Margot Robbie is coming to theaters before streaming on Paramount Plus. I really don't give a shit. I really don't. I mean, it's like, I don't think. Wait, is this even a sequel? No, it's not. So I don't really have much to say. I mean, obviously they got two good actors, but again, I don't. I know what I said at the beginning, but this one is going to be the first project that's going to define my rule, where I'm just like, yeah, I'll give it at least an opinion, but here I'm just like, what do I fucking say? So I have nothing to say about that shit. So fuck it, move on. All right, here's the next week. As the streaming home for Bikini Bottom, okay, 3 new SpongeBob character-driven movies are coming exclusively to Paramount Plus, and a big theatrical tentpole is in the works. Okay, so basically, 3 new character-driven movies from SpongeBob. Maybe. I mean, Sandy has to be one of them. It has to be one of them. So if I had to guess, it's probably going to be SpongeBob, Patrick, and Sandy. Although SpongeBob doesn't really make sense to me because we've already seen enough of his fucking character-driven history. So maybe actually, Mr. Krabs actually wouldn't be that bad because you can expand on his military history. You can see like how he actually became a cheapskate. Like I could see him doing well with that. So actually, scratch that. So we're gonna do Mr. Krabs, maybe Patrick, but definitely Sandy. So those are my 3 guesses. And a big theatrical tentpole is in the works. So basically, that means that they're gonna make another SpongeBob movie to the theaters, which all the SpongeBob movies that we've gotten so far in theaters, like let's take a look. Let me actually take a look. Alright, so the first movie was obviously done in animation, but then had its own live action for a bit. And then Out of Water was a mix of that as well. And then the Sponge on the Run movie was basically live action, computer animated. So basically the same shit. So yeah, so I don't know what they can really do for the 4th movie. I really don't, because they've already done the big because here's the things I feel like they've already done. They've already done a team up movie sort of thing, which is basically what Out of the Water was. They've already done the typical plot of 2 characters are stupid as shit that no one expects them to solve the problem. Go ahead and solve this massive problem that ends up saving the world, or in this case, the city, which is what the first one was. And then the third one was so fucking unnecessary. It was basically a carbon copy of Gary going missing, but except done on the big movie scale with like a meh plot. Like, I'm sorry, I think out of all the movies, the third one is absolutely the worst. It's just absolutely the worst because it didn't need to happen. It didn't need to happen because with the way that the plot was, you could have just made like another fucking TV special and it would have been fine. But whatever. So I don't know what else they could do for the fucking 4th movie. Like what plot are you gonna do? I feel like the 4th one is just gonna be like a fucking another plot that should have just been for the TV show, but except it's done on a movie theater scale because they have nothing else better to do, and because SpongeBob is such a cash cow. Now, don't get me wrong, I love SpongeBob, but it's gotten to the point where for as long as it's been on, a lot of the ideas are going to start to get repetitive unless they do something very unique that actually makes sense. So I don't know what else to say about the 4th one. I really don't. I mean, I'm more excited about the character-driven movies because at least then you have like a little bit more. You have like a bit more of a chance to give like the audience a bit more character-driven perspectives on those characters, whatever it may be. So I don't know if they've actually revealed who are going to get those movies, but I've already said that I hope it's like Mr. Krabs, Patrick, and Sandy for sure. So, that's my thought on that. Is my thought on that one. All right, here's the next tweet. 2023 will usher in a new era of Turtle Mania, okay, with a theatrical release of a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie from Seth Rogen. Wait, what? Followed by a series of villain-driven TMT films exclusively for Paramount Plus, Cowabunga. So basically, the first part is just talking about like, there's gonna be a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies that's gonna come out the theaters, from Seth Rogen, which is actually not that bad of a mix because the Turtles are actually a bunch of comedic geniuses. Like if anyone knows how to actually do that pretty well, I would say Seth Rogen does a pretty good job. Now, can his shit get repetitive? Absolutely. But I think if you get someone with Seth Rogen that understands the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and understand like their character traits, not how to make sure how they don't get repetitive, and stuff like that, then I think this could really work. Obviously, the main question I have is, is this like a prequel? Is this like a sequel? Now, the reason I say it's, why could it be a prequel is because they've done this shit before, I think, at least. So, I think with the way it's looking, probably just its own thing, and it probably doesn't even fucking matter. But I'm just curious to see how they're going to handle it. I do like the direction that they're taking with putting Seth Rogen, one of the more comedic dudes in the industry, to have him basically do this stuff, and you put him like a bunch of fictional animals that literally are the embodiments of that sort of thing. Like, yeah, they can kick ass and beat the shit out of you, but they're pretty much fucking also a bunch of comedic characters. So I think it could work. And the series of villain-driven movies. So what? They're gonna make one about the Crank, the Shredder, and those dudes. I mean, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I don't have much else to say about those ones because obviously I need to know more about it before I can give much of an opinion. But overall, I will say that this is a nice direction for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles franchise in terms of like their projects and stuff. So let's move on. And on February 17th, we have the Paramount Plus debut of Big Nate, an animated adaptation of the best-selling kids book series. So what? Cat in Underpants adaptation? Okay, don't really care. We've greenlit. God damn, I can't talk. We've greenlit a Paw Patrol movie sequel. When the fuck did that happen? The Mighty movie for theaters and a Paw Patrol spin-off TV series for Nickelodeon and Paramount Plus. I mean, this is nice this is really nice for the kids. I mean, there's really not much else you can say. There's literally not a damn thing you could say about this. That's just like, oh, it's gonna be fucking amazing. I mean, it's gonna be amazing for the kids. So, all I have to say is that if you have like little kids or like little cousins, nieces, nephews, whatever that love this show, then keep this in mind. Like, keep this in mind. So, there you go. Ooh, here we go. Now we're talking. So here's the next tweet. A new Blue's Clues movie, Blue's Big City Adventure, I do have to talk about the title after this, is coming this year. And a full-length Baby Shark, wait, what? Movie's coming in 2023. Alright, let's get the main thing out of the way. Number one, who the fuck asked for a Baby Shark movie? That's all I'm going to say. Now to the main thing. So, I do have to say that the title is a fucking, what's the word? It's such a standard industry thing to do when you swap a fucking Big City Adventure type of movie title onto a fucking kids film. It's like saying Tom and Jerry's Big Adventure in the Big City or some shit like that. It is a repetitive title, but here I'm super excited because obviously we have all three the Steves, and obviously people are going to make the comparison to No Way Home when obviously you had Tom Holland, Tobey Maguire, and Andrew Garfield. This is the same kind of thing, except done in the Blue's Clues universe. Now, do we even know anything about the plot? Do we even know about like what is actually going on? Let me actually see if there's a premise. There has to be at least a premise somewhere, because I'd be very surprised if like there isn't like a premise out already. So let me take a look. So I mean, the only thing that we kind of know is that they're going to the Big Apple, so they're going to New York, but it doesn't actually say. It actually doesn't say that it's. Oh, actually, no. Here we go. So in the film, Josh and Blue will try to audition for a Broadway musical. So it has to do something with a Broadway musical. Okay. So I don't think it's that bad. I wouldn't expect too much out of a Blue's Clues movie in terms of plot for now. But I will say that bringing back the Three Steves means that there's probably going to be something a little bit more than just the Broadway musical. Maybe Blue gets lost or something and they have to go find them, and then on the way he finds the other two Steves or whatever. So I definitely think it has a really good drag to it so far. So overall, not much to say about the Blue's Clues movie, but if you're someone that really loves all three of the Steves, you might give it a good watch. All right, so here's the next tweet. We're announcing the return of Dora the Explorer, okay, with a new animated series for preschoolers and a live action series in the same spirit as the recent Dora movie for older audiences. So they're making a new animated series for preschoolers that is basically Dora the Explorer. So okay, I mean, what else can you say? It's fucking Dora the Explorer. And then there's a live action series in the same spirit as the recent Dora movie for older audiences. So basically, what they're doing here is that they're giving you two series, one of which that's aimed for the little kids, and then there's one aimed for like the older audiences. I'm actually a little bit surprised that there's actually a good enough older audience for them to feel like, hey, let's do an older audience show. So here I'm just like, okay. I mean, it's not a terrible idea, but you know, what how older can you get in terms of what you're going to do in that series for it to, I guess, matter. So I guess if you're someone that still appreciates and watches Dora the Explorer even as an older audience, then there you go, you got what you wanted. But this one, I would say the same thing like I did for fucking Paw Patrol, where it's like if you have like little kids, cousins, nieces, or nephews, or whatever that love the show, then you can literally just have them watch the new animated series, or if you want to be a real OG, you can just show them like the actual OG series. So you know, there you go. All right, last year, next tweet. Last year, iCarly was the top comedy acquisition driver on Paramount Plus. The new season of the Paramount Plus original is now taping and will launch this year. Okay, I mean, the new iCarly seems to be pretty good, so I mean, this is a no-brainer announcement. We just released next tweet. Ugh, by the way, we just released the hashtag in between starring Joey King plus powered in by Awesomeness TV. We have more adult films on the way. I don't give a shit. Later this year, MTV Teen Wolf. Don't care. The Star Trek universe is expanding on Paramount Plus. We're premiering a brand new series, Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, on May 5th, starting Anson Mount as Captain Pike. Okay, there you go. Now this is some good shit. I've always enjoyed watching Star Trek whenever I can or whenever I do. So, not bad. I think for you Star Trek fans, this is a good treat. This is a good treat. Next tweet. The NFL and CBS is television's MVP, most valuable property. I mean, wow, no shit. $1 billion sports league that popular? Who would have guessed? The Thanksgiving Day game was the most streamed regular season NFL game ever on Paramount Plus. That momentum continued into the playoffs last month of our most streamed non-Super Bowl weekend ever. Okay. There will be even more soccer to watch on Paramount Plus. We've secured the rights for the Women's Super League. We're also expanding internationally with the English Premier League in Mexico and Central America. Okay. Paramount Plus is also home to CBS News. Don't care. The two CBS TV shows, Paramount Plus Originals, Evil, SEAL Team Plus. Don't care. The shorts have gone global. Rio Shore and Acapulco Shore launched with Paramount Plus in Brazil, Mexico. So what? This is like a variation of Jersey Shore, but just done in other parts of the globe. Next, we're making reality competition with the first ever globally connected competition series, Challenge MTV War of the Worlds. So it's basically like that one CBS show where they have like a bunch of contestants go to the island or something where they have like these challenges set up. But except it's just done a little bit more raunchier now, and there's just like more to it. Cool, I guess. So, yay. All right, here we go. Exciting South Park news. All right, here we go. Number one, South Park will premiere 2 events on Paramount Plus each year for the next 6 years. So, if I had to guess, that means like what they did with the COVID special, where they premiered it or they released it like last year, I think it was. And then the following year after they released something else. So I feel like that's what what you would call it. That's what that is. So that's good. I love South Park. I think the show is an absolute banger. Number 2, new series episodes stream first on Paramount Plus globally in 2024. So basically that means for new episodes that come out in the future, which I imagine that's what the thing is basically telling us. It pretty much means that, hey, if you have Paramount Plus, you can watch the episodes ahead of time. Like, you're the first person to watch it. So, cool. And lastly, the full series catalog will be exclusive to Paramount Plus internationally in 2022 and in the United States 2025. Wait, why internationally first in 2022? Oh, I guess the reason why is because I guess maybe internationally there isn't like a better access to the full series, so maybe they're just like, you know what, why don't we just do that first for the international audience, and then the United States can get it in 2025, because I can literally still watch like the rest of the series, I think, on like their website. So I think that's what they're doing. I think that's what that means. I don't know. I don't know how hard it is for it to actually watch South Park internationally. So I mean, that's not bad. I am curious as to why it's taking 3 years after the fact, but whatever. Oh, here we go. Next week, this July, Paramount Plus is premiering an exclusive Beavis and Butthead movie, followed by brand new episodes. So, a Beavis and Butthead movie. I mean, from what it looks like they're older. They're older. Hold on, let me look at the tweet. There we go. So what could they do with another Beavis and Butthead movie? Maybe another fucking buddy co-op movie where they solve a problem together or some stupid shit like that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what else to say about the plot of this potential movie. Like, I really don't fucking know. But maybe that's what it's gonna be. I feel like this is gonna be another buddy co-op movie. And followed by brand new episodes. So basically, it means that the show is actually going to get brand new episodes right after that. So it's like, okay, so not bad. I'll definitely be watching the episodes just to see if it has like that good feeling to it. All right, so from Taylor Shadid, the co-creator Yellowstone, Kingstown, AT&T Free, Don't Really Care. The offer premieres in somewhat English. It tells one of the Hollywood's wildest stories, how the iconic film Godfather almost didn't happen. I mean, for those of you that like that sort of thing, then there you go. Grease, Rise of the Pink Ladies, is a spicy musical pre-sequel. So basically, a prequel to the Grease. Okay, so it's called Grease, Rise of the Pink Ladies. Okay, whatever. More new series coming to Paramount Plus, including Happy Face when the creators of Good Fight and Evil, Rabbit Hole, a psychological thriller, and I don't care. This summer, Paramount Plus will come to the UK, bringing all of our shows and movies and audiences to the British audience. Okay. And as we continue to expand Paramount Plus into global markets, we already have more than 50 new international originals planned. Okay. I mean, whatever. And that's pretty much the end of it. I mean, that's all you can really say about it. That's all you can really say. I would say overall, a lot of the stuff is actually pretty good. Like, let's actually go back to the thread and go through not every single one. Yeah, every single one of them. We're probably gonna end up doing that. So let's go ahead and just go through this real quick. So the Halo stuff, really, genuinely curious to see, but I'm excited for it. Transformers, I'm a little bit iffy on, but I think it has a promising future if it doesn't like shoot itself in the foot. Sonic movie and the Knuckles series I'm very excited about, and I'm excited to see the second movie. A Quiet Place is kind of interesting. I'm curious to see how they're going to handle it, but if they go by what I'm predicting in terms of the plot line, then it's pretty telegraphed. Top Gun movie I'm excited to see. Lost City movie, Mission Impossible, maybe. I'm interested to see how the Dungeons and Dragons movie will do. Babe 1, don't really give a shit. The SpongeBob character-driven movies, that's going to be pretty interesting to see. And the big theatrical movie, I'm curious to see how they're going to do this one around. But I unfortunately feel like it's going to be one of those ones where it should have just been like a TV movie or something, or like a hour episode. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I'm really excited to see how this is going to go. If they have Seth Rogen to do this shit, then I feel like they're going to really try to usher in the turtle comedic side of things. I just hope that it's not overdone to death where it's like repetitive and it's just like very bland. But if they respect and understand the history of the turtles, then it wouldn't have to happen. Big Nate, I mean, for those of you that care about Captain Underpants, then that's nice. Paw Patrol, don't really give a shit. The Boots Clues movie, it's actually kind of interesting. I'm curious to see how they're gonna handle the plot of this movie, so I'll give it a bit of a chance. Dora the Explorer, don't really give a fuck, and all these other ones, with iCar. I mean, I care about iCarly, but it's just it's not like one of the main things I'm looking at. And then the announcements after that, besides Star Trek, don't really give a shit. So, and then obviously South Park, very excited to see South Park still doing their thing, because I think it's one of the most underrated, or actually, when I say underrated, I say it in the sense that when you compare it to like other shows, I feel like this show doesn't really get a whole lot of respect. Well, actually, it does get a whole lot of respect, but I feel like it's getting like, I feel like it should be talked about a bit more because it's actually, I think, in my opinion, South Park has like a pretty good impact, everlasting impact on the TV industry. If you like think about it, so South Park is definitely one of them. Beavis and Butthead, excited to see them. I'm curious to see how the movie's actually going to be, even though I feel like it's going to be like another fucking buddy co-op movie. So there's that. Brand new episodes, not bad. 1883, all these other announcements, don't really give a fuck. So that's pretty much the end of it. So that's my opinion about that's my opinion about like the whole fucking Paramount Plus stuff. Now it's like, whatchamacallit, and that's pretty much the end of it as far as Paramount Plus. Now for the few other things, so I'm excited to see how they're gonna handle the Disney Plus stuff. Like when we actually see if they did anything for Disney. I feel like they did do announce some projects for Disney Plus that I just didn't see. So let me take a look at the fact if there's a thread. Maybe there wasn't. So let me see. Let me take a look. Oh wait, that's right. I put it there for a reason. Hold on. I know exactly why. Alright, let's take a look. Fucking Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, an original movie. There we go. So basically they're doing Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers for Disney Plus. So it's basically like a mix of live action with animated. Although I'm a little bit not skeptical, but I'm a little curious to see how exactly they're going to handle it, because I wonder, again, is it going to be like a Roger Rabbit type of thing? Which is actually ironic because Roger Rabbit's actually in the fucking movie. So, there you go. But in terms of Roger Rabbit, I wonder how they're going to handle blending in the animation to live action perfectly to where it's like, it doesn't look like absolute dookie shit. Now, granted, there is a trailer, so we can see that, but I'm saying that after the fact, because a trailer, I feel like that doesn't really show a whole lot. Although, to be fair, it's coming out in May, so maybe that's what it actually looks like. Which, if that's the case, then it's not. It doesn't look bad, but at the same time, I'm just kind of like, yeah, this could be a little bit better. This could be a little bit better in in complete honesty. Like, it could look better than it actually looks. So yeah, so I don't think like there's much else I can really say about that one. So so I think that's the only Disney Plus thing that I saw recently that I thought maybe I'd put into the video, so, or into the episode. So there you go. All right, so now for the other stuff. For the big elephant in the room regarding our boy Crash Bandicoot, So, obviously, I'm late. Well, I mean, technically, I'm not late on the news because obviously I already knew about it, right when it got announced. But in terms of putting it on video, I am late. So, there you go. So, basically, Activision Blizzard got acquired by Microsoft. So, basically, that means Activision Blizzard is now part of the Xbox family. Now, it's not an immediate transfer, because I do believe that it doesn't actually get into effect until 2023. So let me take a look. Microsoft deal with Activision. So they were acquired for $68.7 billion, which is actually a lot, which I didn't really think this would happen. I just didn't know. I did not think that was gonna happen. Holy shit. So basically, they're estimating that the deal will be done at the earliest, or not the earliest, sometime between July 2022 and July 2023. So basically, around 2022, we can expect to maybe see at the earliest the deal getting done. So now there are some questions about like there are some questions about like what is going to happen in regards to the deal. Like obviously we know how much Microsoft spent for this deal, which is $68.7 billion. Does that mean Activision Blizzard games come to Game Pass now? Well, yeah, that's actually part of the plan. So there's that. And the big question everyone's been asking is, will Activision Blizzard games be Xbox and PC exclusives now? Microsoft said at first that they'll honor existing Sony contracts and won't make Call of Duty exclusive right away, but it's likely some of the games might not come, or actually might not come to PlayStation. But the reason why this is kind of bullshit, because I'm actually reading off of some information I found. The reason why it's bullshit is because Microsoft did come out recently and say that they will not only honor existing contracts, but they're gonna extend that to even further. Meaning like the same kind of shit that you expect to see when it comes to Call of Duty coming out on PlayStation first or whatever, and then all these other games. Expect the same exact type of thing that we've always expected to continue on for a very long time, or for however long they're structuring these contracts. So I wouldn't really expect anything different unless they both come out and say otherwise. And one of the things that I'm sure a lot of people are wondering is that piece of shit Kotick still the CEO of Activision Blizzard? Well, at the moment, yes, at the moment. But he may leave after the deal is done. I mean, that's what the article says. But mind you, the article came out right when this all started. But it is said that he will leave once the deal goes through, which is unfortunate because I would rather just see the fucker in jail, but obviously that's never going to happen. So I think, because there's obviously been a lot of perspectives as to, if this is good, if this is bad, if this is whatever, if this is, it doesn't mean anything good. Or, yeah, what I just said basically. In terms of Crash Bandicoot, because obviously, most people that watch this channel and watch the videos will probably want to know exactly, directly about my opinion about whether or not this is good for Crash Bandicoot. Here's what I think. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's bad. I don't think it'll be bad. Now, it's going to get judged on the fact of how well Microsoft is going to treat these people over at Activision Blizzard once it fully goes under the Microsoft hood. I don't think it'll be that bad. I think working conditions are going to improve. I think they're going to be treated a lot better. And I hope that the pay that everyone's going to get, obviously working for the company, is fair, equal, and not cheap. It shouldn't be cheap because Microsoft is one of those fucking rich-ass companies. And it's like one of the core essential things in our lifetime in terms of technology. So it shouldn't get to that point, but if it does, then I would not be surprised. So, but I think we have like a lot of outcry nowadays in the union industry where it could definitely not go in that factor. But you know what? I've seen some really crazy shit. Actually, sorry about that, guys. Something just popped up. So, there we go. So basically, I think overall I think overall it's not bad. I don't think it's bad. I think one of the real reasons why people are saying it might be bad is because the whole the exclusivity thing, which doesn't make sense to me because there's many examples where that is not even like. Or that's not even like an issue. Like, it's not even a fucking issue. So, I think people should just not overreact to it just because, like, just because they're Microsoft, that means everything's going to be exclusive. I won't get my exclusive content on PlayStation first anymore and stuff like that. It's like, guys, I mean, it's an industry fucking standard. Like, it's like saying, the exclusive, just to make this hypothetical, even though it doesn't make sense. It's like saying, this new Halo skin that comes out first on Xbox is not going to come out on fucking PlayStation until like for another a while. Like, yeah, no shit, that sort of thing is going to happen because that actually, as a matter of fact, that's been happening for years. Or, just to use Genshin as an example, the fucking Aloy character that was a PlayStation exclusive character, mind you. That thing later came out to everyone, I think months later after the fact. So I don't think that sort of argument holds up too much. I mean, it does have some factors that you can look at and maybe it's like legit or valid, but it's like, I just don't. I think people mostly are overreacting to this. I think as long as the working conditions are way better and they're actually what they're supposed to be, if the money is good for the workers, if the conditions are good for everyone to succeed in, then that's all I really care about. That's all I really care about. Obviously, I care a lot about Crash Bandicoot too, but the health, the mental health, the physical, and what have you for the workers is way more important than like a fucking virtual, a virtual gaming character. So that's where I'm at as far as that thing is concerned. But as far as Crash Bandicoot, since people are going to be more curious about that, basically, I think for Crash Bandicoot, this doesn't mean anything bad because he did Phil Spencer did say that they want to make sure each of these franchises are done right in terms of what they can offer. So I think for Crash Bandicoot, for how big he is and how important he is and the impact that he has, he's not gonna be in like a bad position in any means whatsoever. I think because his name is such an industry changing name, because obviously he came out around the time of the PlayStation where the PlayStation was like this unknown rookie coming into a big squadron of well-known video game industry members and consoles and shit, and they just came in and just said, yo, we can do just as better, if not better than you, and then they just set the industry standard from there. So I think for Crash he'll be fine because everyone knows who he is, everyone knows his games. We just had a Crash Bandicoot game like what, 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago. So, and we also have like a mobile game that came out officially last year too. So I think he'll be fine. I think as long as they know that there's a good demand for Crash Bandicoot, the hype is there, which both of those boxes check out, because obviously there's a very, I think a lot of Crash Bandicoot fans are vocal for the fact that they love the character, they love the games, and they will love to see more. And I think Microsoft will understand that once the deal goes through, and Activision too to some degree, but we don't talk about those bastards. So we'll just see how it happens. Now, for characters like, Spyro, I feel like there might have to be a little bit more, but I think the fans are vocal enough. I think the fans for that are not necessarily a minority. I don't think they are. There's some really vocal people that love, the Spyro series. They really, really, really do. So I think overall, I don't think Crash is going to be in the bad spot because of this. I don't know why people are saying that, because of this whole acquisition, Crash Bandicoot might not really happen as much anymore. It's like, guys, where do we get this idea from? Like, did Phil Spencer come out and say, "Oh, we're not going to do Crash Bandicoot games"? I mean, if anything, if anything, Phil Spencer said this. So I think this was talked about in regards to Banjo-Kazooie, ironically, where he said something along the lines of like, something about like the studios reported to him as to like, oh, if they want to do something, they can. Like, Phil Spencer basically said, to the studios, hey, if you want to make a Banjo-Kazooie game, you most definitely can. Like, you do what you want to do. It's literally up to the fucking studio. So in the case of Crash Bandicoot, where the people within that studio, right, like Toys for Bob, they know of how much Crash Bandicoot means a lot to some people. And they know how successful that franchise is in terms of like the stuff that they've been doing recently. Why would anyone say, oh, Crash Bandicoot's not really going to happen as much anymore under Microsoft, when literally the CEO, the big boss, literally said it's up to the studios if they want to do, that project. And again, like I just said, but I'll repeat it again. Crash Bandicoot is in everyone, well, not everyone's mind, but Crash Bandicoot is fresh enough in our minds for those that care to know that, hey, he's had a mobile game come out recently, he's had a main series game come out recently, there's a bunch of rumors, there's a bunch of talkings about him in regards of like his 25th anniversary that we just did, which by the way I feel like they could have done a lot better, but whatever. And then obviously everyone's talking about the rumors of a Crash Bandicoot game that hasn't come out yet or will come out or who knows. So the attention to detail in terms of the engagement is there for Crash Bandicoot. People care about Crash Bandicoot, so everything's there. All we need pretty much is just for them to work on the game, which I assume they might be. Who knows? And it's just a matter of whether or not when they want to release it. Like Toys for Bob, when you see like the video that they were talking about for the 25th anniversary, where they said that hey, to Crash, hey, we'll see you soon. That's not the type of language that you expect to tell to an audience of a character of like, oh, we're never gonna it's gonna be a while until you see him again. No, he literally just said, well, we'll see you soon, implying that we'll get something soon in regards to Crash Bandicoot. Now, granted, to be fair, that was back in like late 2021, and it's now February 2022. But if there's one thing we know, guys, sometimes the greatest things in life take a bit more time before it comes out. So there you go. But here's the question that some people are probably wondering, or probably asking me. Do I think that there's going to be a Crash Bandicoot project coming out this year? I actually give it a 50-50 chance because it really depends on, I feel like with the whole thing going on with the acquisition, maybe they won't. But then again, I don't see how this stops Call of Duty. So I think it really depends on like, do they want to have like another year of nothing, or they just want to like wait until, what was it, until like later this month, March or April or May, because you do have to remember, Crash Bandicoot 4 was actually announced, I think, in May, and then actually leaked in May, but then the actual announcement I think came out in June. So it wouldn't be that far-fetched for them to do the same thing with whatever new game they have, which is going to be like maybe a Wumpa League type of thing, or a main series game, or anything really. So it's not impossible. It just depends on where they're at in the project. It depends on how far they are in it, and it really depends on if they feel like they can make it work. Now, I'm not gonna be upset if they don't have a Crash Bandicoot game this year. I just hope that they're doing what they are in their due diligence and their creative minds, to make it happen. Because again, it's fresh in their minds. It's in there, and they're not gonna get rid of it. Like they literally said that they wouldn't. So I don't think we're in a bad spot, Crash fans. I don't think we are. So I don't get why we have a bunch of downer talk where it's like, oh, it's not, Crash Bandicoot isn't going to happen for a while because of the Xbox deal, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's such a horseshit narrative that I don't think even makes sense. It literally doesn't. It just fucking doesn't. Like, it makes absolutely no sense. So, I think overall, I think Crash Bandicoot is in a good spot. Again, it depends on what's going on with the studios, mainly Toys for Bob in terms of the working conditions, the pay and stuff like that. As long as the more important things are resolved, and as long as that's all done, said and done, and they can get their heads together and think, okay, what can we do next for the main, for either the main game, side game? How can we make it happen so we can deliver on the fact of this great character to the fans? As long as they do that in genuine effort, then I think we're in a good spot. So I don't think there's very much to say in terms of of just like how people are saying it's a downer when literally it's not, but whatever. So yeah, so I think that's pretty much it as far as that. So the last thing I'll talk about, which you could probably see on the layout, is YouTube. Now, no, this isn't an announcement of me leaving YouTube or anything like that. It's really not. I mean, if I was going to leave fucking YouTube, I wouldn't watch the platform at all. But obviously, that's not the case. So, that's not going to happen. So, what I am going to talk about YouTube is that I do want to say that I will try to have a better focus. Well, not necessarily not just focus, but I do want to have a better content focus in terms of like uploading stuff a little bit more often on the platform, and just having a variety to it, and not just be 24/7 inactive almost throughout the entire year, and then maybe do like let's say 1 or 2 videos per year. I definitely don't want to do that. But if it does happen, obviously I'll give like a proper announcement or update on my Twitter every once in a while to let you guys know that, hey, I'll be gone for a while in terms of making content because of this and that and whatever. So if something like that does happen, I will try to give a proper heads up as to that sort of thing going on, so that way it's not out of left field or anything like that. But in terms of YouTube, I still have like some projects in the back burner that I have yet to really finish. Like Pikachu's Unlucky Week, that's a project I really do want to get out there, and I do have everything set to go. Like I have all the voice recordings, I do have the images, I do have the editing. All I really need to do is just put together the voice editing, make sure everything lines up, meshes well enough, put on the TikToks, TikToks. But I basically was saying the TikToks of like the sound editing and stuff like that. All I have to do is pretty much that, and the thing is basically ready to go. It's just I fell into a slump of really finishing it when in reality it should have been out for like 2 years by now. So I will do that at some point. I just trying to get a good hand as to where I'm at as far as me working, as far as just going to school and stuff like that, because I've been focused on those two things for a while, to where making content was just like not necessarily a chore or boredom, but more so like it just became less of a focus, and I want to do better in that. So I'm not gonna give like a promise of a release date because I did that last time, and that's obviously if I went through all that shit like I did with the roadmap, which turned out to be useless, then we would fall into the same problem. So what I will say is that you will see it this year. Maybe within the next few months, but I'm not gonna give like an exact release date because I'm not trying to fall into that same trap again. I will give you a general window of when to expect it, but I'm not going to give you like an actual release date as to like, oh, this is going to come out this month, this year, or whatever. Like, all I'm going to say is that you're going to expect it soon, and when you do, I hope you enjoy it because it's a project I've been wanting to make since 2014. Well, since 2014, but it was something I made back in 2014, halfway in, and then I just never finished it. But then 6 years later, I was just like, you know what, let me try this again. So I think overall, I think we're in a good position. So all I have to do is just do like a few things to it, and then it should be good to go. Obviously, I actually do have a video coming out soon. It's it's been a while since it happened, but basically, me and the gang, the Pokemon crew, we just played like a bunch of games. A bunch of rounds of basically Cards Against Humanity. And in that one, we just had like a whole bunch of fun. We got really raunchy and shit, and we got had a bunch of fun. So that's gonna come out soon, and yeah, other content like the series, for example, it's gonna come out whenever there's like stuff to talk about in like a good scale of things, or sometimes it'll be like a variety of video times where it'll be a long episode like this one, or it'll be for like 20 or 15 minutes or whatever, just like for like one thing or whatever. So overall, that's what we're looking at as far as like the roadmap. Just do expect content soon, but don't expect it right away because obviously I'm still trying to get good focus on like everything going on as far as like going to work, going to school and stuff like that. So I think I think I'm at a good spot now, but I just want to make sure I'm in a better enough spot to where I can dish out content and just make sure we're in a good spot for both. So I think with everything, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I was trying to think of what else I could talk about on today's episode, but I don't think I really have anything else to say in regards of the whole thing. So I think that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you guys again for watching this episode, supporting the series, supporting my channel and me, of course. As per usual, if you wish to follow me on my Twitter for about updates about whenever I go live on Twitch, which will happen a little less often because of my work schedule, but I will try to put in streams whenever I can. So you can follow me on Twitch, rfrd97. If you wish to follow me on Twitter for updates about when I do go live, about content updates and personal life updates and shit like that, you can follow me on my Twitter, rfrd97, and obviously my YouTube, rfrd97 for when those said content videos like Unlucky Week, random games, playing with the crew, we can those videos go on there. So there's that. And excuse me. And with that, I think that's pretty much it. That's all my socials. Yeah, that's all my socials. So that's pretty much it, guys. Again, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And I think maybe there'll be an episode next week. Not sure. Again, it really depends on what's there to talk about. Maybe it'll be like something random. But yeah, I'll pretty much just end the episode right here. Again, thank you guys for watching, supporting. Don't forget to subscribe and share with your friends, family. And I will see you guys next time.